Around midnight, what seemed like forever ago, the light bulb above my bed burned out. I was only 14 at the time, so I should have been asleep. But instead, I was awake to watch the spark fade until I was left alone in the darkness of night. I thought nothing of it in that moment. However, looking back, I've come to realize it was some sort of sign warning me of the dark days ahead. One just so happened to be the very next day, when I was told my grandfather, one of my best friends ever, one of the best people I had ever met, had cancer. It went away for a while, and I thought all was well. With bright eyes and an innocence whose return I yearned for, I ventured on. At 15 years old, I sat in my room with a close friend by my side. In the middle of the dumb jokes and the meaningless conversations, a light flickered, but didn't go out. I joked around. "Get the salt." We laughed and continued with our night. Come to find out, next morning, that my great-grandfather passed away. 17 years old, and I am slightly awakened from a deep sleep. I sleep with the light just dim enough so that I can see my fingertips. That same light I look to for protection against my newly acquired fear of the dark betrays me by flickering out. Shutting my eyes to ignore the inner, crippling fear screaming at me, I slowly drift back to sleep. Next morning, my 24-year-old uncle turns up face down in his bed, long since dead after finally losing the fight with the hideous, monstrous demon buried within him for the past 10 years. 2 months later, still 17 years old, you sat with me and comforted me through the funeral and the overwhelming grief. I know you're in pain, and I know you're bad off. I also know why. I thought I knew how bad it was. The dark terrifies me, so my friend's bathroom light stays on, just so I can see across the room. All of a sudden, it burns out. I'm left alone in the dark, the only one still awake. I don't sleep that night. Instead, I curl further into the blanket I'm under and remain quiet on the couch. I feel tears fall, but I make no move to wipe them away. Instead, I let those silent tears of fear, heartbreak, and grief fall onto the blanket. Next morning, I sit on the phone with my mom. He's all right for now, but he's in and out of consciousness. My heart continues to beat. Relief floods my features, and my nerves vanish. Until she continues. "Baby, it won't be much longer. If I'm honest, I hardly give him till Sunday." I disagree. I can hardly see him lasting even one more day. Roughly an hour later, she calls again. My vision flickers and blurs as I hear the news. Another light flickers out, but this one can't be replaced. 18 years old, separation anxiety snuck up on me at some point, with depression and insomnia in tow. My fear of the dark has now expanded itself to show me its true form. All lights in my room stay on. I sit in fear at night, in fear of another bulb burning out. Maybe if it stays on, those dreadful words will go away. Maybe, just maybe, your light will come back. But no, they still ring in the silence of the night. Allie, he's gone. I look for my little black kitten, no older than 10 months, for comfort. I suddenly hear hacking in the bathroom. She stays curled up on the floor by the little box where I see a small lump of what I can only guess is stomach acid because she hasn't eaten in days. Tomorrow she goes to the vet, I reassure myself. Maybe then I'll get some answers. I hear a loud pop, and my eyes immediately turn to the little lamp plugged into the wall, only to find a sight I absolutely dread. Slowly, almost tauntingly, the light fades from that small bowl. I stare, I cry, I pick her up and hold her close to my chest, earning a small mew from the creature. I sit frozen like this because I know it's all I can do. I feel something inside of me pop and know exactly what it is. It's a familiar feeling by now. We all have a light inside of us, and I knew the feeling was mine. I could only stand frozen as I felt that spark finally fade so dim I couldn't find my fingertips. My biggest fear was now taking over me, and it was a feeling I dreaded. As the darkness spread through me, I came to realize I was growing to fear myself. I now fear the numbness I feel as I look back at my past. I fear the dullness which overtook that spark once held in my eyes, my soul. I fear the darkness. I fear burned out light bulbs, all because it's what once overtook me. And that fear is now looked at as silly, just because the light bulb of society used to symbolize knowledge is so dim that my fingertips have long since disappeared. I fear burned out light bulbs because I'm diagnosed with depressive anxiety, afraid of anyone leaving but depressed because I know at some point, somehow, everyone will, no matter how hard I try to keep them with me. And it's infuriatingly frustrating, not just because of the pain it causes. No, it's frustrating because for some reason, it's looked at as begging for attention and irrational, and somehow society finds this okay. I know it's irrational. How can I not know that my biggest fear is an inevitable occurrence no one else cares enough to look forward and see? But what's unthought of is this simple fact. It's rational to me. I live with this so-called irrational fear every single day. Yes, I am begging for attention, but not for the reasons you accuse me of. I beg for attention to be brought to the fact that I need help. Separation anxiety means a panic attack every time you do the slightest thing wrong, or watching your words like a hawk, or changing yourself into a completely new person, or watching someone walk out the door, and all of a sudden being struck with this horrible feeling of what-if scenarios, half of which are completely unrealistic, and you know it, but still fear them just as much as, if not more than, the most plausible one of all, because you fear that person leaving your life for good. And the reason it develops is even sadder and more terrifying than the symptoms faced. It develops because people leaving is all you know. It happens so often that you now subconsciously feel as if it'll happen with everyone, with you left incapable of changing anything or overtaking these constant thoughts, and it just tears you apart. But whatever. It's fine. Because who really cares about the thoughts of the depressively anxious? No one will ever think there's a deeper reason for the fear of burned out light bulbs.
Awesome job. Happiness.
How are you feeling?
How many?
A little vulnerable, but I'm okay.